Good morning, children. Welcome back to English class. In the previous class, I have taken up to page number 40. Sorry, this page number 38. Page number 38. Okay, so I hope you have read that passage. Let me ask you a few questions. Okay, who is Lancelot Gobbo? Who is Lancelot Gobbo? Do you remember? Okay, Lancelot Gobbo is the servant of Shylock. Shylock's servant. And we have come across her soliloquy. Okay, and I hope you remember that word soliloquy. That means a person talking to himself. Nobody else is there, or he's not talking to anyone, and that person is not replying to him. He's just talking to himself, and the audience will come to know what is going on in his mind. Okay, so we saw Lancelot having a soliloquy, and what was the inner struggle? Okay, so what inner struggle is going on in his conscience? An inner struggle is going on in his mind uh, between his conscience advising him to be a faithful servant and the devil tempting him to leave Shylock's service and take up the service with Bassanio. So this is the inner struggle going on in Lancelot's conscience or Lancelot's mind. Okay. So the conscience advises him to stay or not to run away from Shylock. But the devil advises him to run away from Shylock's service. And he likes the devil's advice. He says that the conscience advice is very rigid. Okay. And then he meets, okay, Lancelot meets his own father in the street. And he directs him, or he gives him the wrong direction. And then the father himself says that it is very hard to find out. And the father does not recognize his son Lancelot. And finally, Lancelot tells his father that his son Lancelot is dead. And see, here he says that, okay, hearing this, he was so shocked. Mary, God forbid, the boy was the very staff of my age, my very prop. So he says that he is the source, or he was the source of support in his old age. So the next part, in the textbook, page number 38. Okay, the next part, Lancelot replies. What does Lancelot reply to this? Do I look like a cudgel or a hovel post, a staff, or prop? Do you know me, father? So when old Gobo, okay, when old Gobo says that Launcelot was his only support, the source of support in his old age, or the very prop, that means support, Launcelot asked, do I look like a cudgel? Cudgel, D is silent there. You have to read as cudgel. Do I look like a cudgel or a howl post? So he asked his father whether he looks like a heavy stick, a cudgel, or a howl post. That if you know, a hut is supported by a post, that is in the middle there is a long post, and so he asked a howl post, a post that support that shed. So do I look like a cudgel or a howl post, a staff or a prop? That means, okay, whether he looks like a post or a heavy stick. Do you know me, father? So finally, he tries to disclose himself to his father. So he asks, do you know me, father? Gobo. That is Launcelot's father, old Gobo. Alack, the day I know you not, young gentleman, but I pray you tell me, is my boy, God rest his soul, alive or dead? So old Gobo says, alas. Okay, so he is so sad, or he became very shocked to hear that his son is dead. So he says, alas, uh, alas, I know you not. Okay, so here in the text he says, I'm sand blind. Okay, so he says that he cannot recognize this young man, this young gentleman, because he is sand blind, half blind, Launcelot. Nay, indeed, if you had your eyes, you might fail of the knowing me. It is a wise father that knows his own child. Well, old man, I will tell you news of your son. Give me your blessing. Truth will come to light. Murder cannot be hid long. A man's son may, but at the length truth will not. So Lancelot says that, nay, in sorry, now indeed, even if your eyes are quite good, that means Lancelot tells that he will not, okay, that indeed if you had your eyes, you might fail of knowing me. So even if he has good eyesight, he might fail to recognize him. And he says that if a father recognizes his son, he is wise. It is a wise father who knows his own child. And then what does he say? Well, old man, I will tell you news of your son. So he finally tells that he will give him the news of his son. Give me your blessing. So first, give me your blessing. He requests, or Lancelot Gobo requests his father to give him his blessing. Truth will come to light. Okay, nobody can hide the truth. That's what Lancelot tells. Truth will come to light. And murder cannot be hid long. That means nobody can hide a murder. One day it will be revealed and it cannot be hid for a long time. Likewise, a man's son, okay, a man's son may hide, but in the end, the truth will be out. That means, so a man's son can hide, but truth will not. Truth will come out. That's what he says. Gobo, pray you, sir, stand up. So he was kneeling down and asking old Gobo's blessing, his own father. Pray you, sir, stand up. I'm sure you're not Lancelot, my boy. So he says, okay, sir, you get up or you stand up. I'm sure. So Gobo tells Lancelot that he is sure that he is not, that person is not his son, Lancelot. Okay, next part. Lancelot, pray you, let's have no more fooling about it. So all this time, Lancelot was fooling his father. So finally he says, pray you, I request you, let's stop. Is it? Okay. Let's have no more fooling about it. Now we'll stop this fooling. That means jesting or joking. But give me your blessing. He asked, Lancelot asked Gobo's blessing. I'm Lancelot. Finally, he tells his father that he is Lancelot, his son. Okay. Your boy that was, your son that is, your child that shall be. Okay. So he says, Lancelot tells that he is his father's son, Gobo's son, who used to be his son. Okay, and at present he is his son and shall always be his son. That's what Lancelot tells his father. I cannot think you are my son. So Gobo tells that he cannot believe that this person is his son because he is sand blind, more than half blind, and so he cannot see him properly. Lancelot, I know not what I shall think of that, but I am Lancelot, the Jew's man, and I'm sure Marjorie, your wife, is my mother. So he tells that I know not what I shall think of that. So he says, okay, I don't know what to say about that, but he says he is Lancelot, the Jew's man. That means the Jew's servant, that is Shylock's servant. And now Lancelot finds that Gobo is not accepting him as a son, or he does not believe that he is his son. So finally, he tells his mother's name. So he tells, I'm sure Marjorie, your wife, is my mother. Okay, Gobo. Her name is Marjorie, indeed. Certainly, her name is Marjorie. Gobo says that yes, Gobo's wife's name is Marjorie. I'll be sworn. So he says, I swear that my wife's name is Marjorie. If thou be Lancelot, thou art mine own flesh and blood. So he says that if he is Lancelot, that means he is Gobo's own flesh and blood. That is his true son. Lord, worshipped might he be. What a bed hast thou got? So now you know what happens, since he is more than half blind. Gobo feels his face, touches his face and head, and he says that, oh my God, or um, Lord worshipped, Lord be praised. What a beard hast thou got? So he feels his face and says that Lancelot has got a large or big beard. Okay, thou hast got more hair on thy chin than Dobbin, my fill horse, has on his tail. So Gobo tells that this Lancelot has more hair on his beard than his Phil horse Dobbin has on his tail. Phil horse is a means a horse that is used for drawing a cart. Okay, that's what Phil horse. So he says that, what is the joke that he tells here? He says that his son Lancelot has a long beard, or longer than his Phil horse tail. Lancelot. It should seem then that Dobbin's tail grows backward. Then Lancelot replies that, oh, then I think Dobbin's tail is growing backward. Backward here means growing less. I'm sure he had more hair of his tail than I have of my face when I last saw him. So Lancelot tells that when he last visited his father, this Dobbin, the Phil horse, had more hair than he had on his face. That means when he last saw this Phil horse, the horse had more hair on his tail than Lancelot's beard. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, the next part. Gobo. Lord, how art thou changed? How dost thou and thy master agree? I have brought him a present. How agree you now? Okay, so Gobo, feeling his face, and he says that, oh, you have changed a lot. How, oh Lord, oh God, how much you have changed. And he asked about his master. Gobo asked him, "Hey, how about your master? Are you both getting along well? How does thou and thy master agree?" Here means whether they are getting on well. Okay. I have brought him a present. So Gobo tells Lancelot, his son, that Gobo has brought him a present. And then, okay, how are you agreeing now? Lancelot. Well, well, but for mine own part, as I have set up my rest to run away. So Lancelot finally tells that, okay, well, but for mine own part, that means as far as I'm concerned, I have set up my rest. That means I have made up my mind to run away. So I will not rest till I have run some ground. So he says that he will not rest till he has run, or he has covered some distance. My master is a very Jew. So he says that, see, my master is a typical Jew. And now, according to the Christians, the Jews are very miserly. Okay, they are very mean, then greedy. That's why he says, Lancelot tells that my master is a very Jew. That means he is a typical Jew. Give him a present, give him a halter. So he tells, oh, you're going to give him a present? You better give him a halter. Halter means a rope, okay, so that he can hang himself with. So that's what Lancelot tells. You better give him a halter. Halter means a rope to hang himself with. I'm famished in his service. You may tell every finger I have with my ribs. Okay, he reversely tells. Okay, he says that I'm famished. So in his service, he always go hungry. That's what Lancelot tells. He wants to, or these are some of the reasons that he tells in leaving Shylock's service. First of all, he says that if he continues to serve him, he also will become a Jew because his master is a typical Jew. And then he is always going hungry, or he's always hungry in his service. He's not getting enough food, or Shylock is not giving him enough food. And so he shows him the shows him that he can, or anyone can feel his ribs. You may tell every finger I have with my ribs. That means with your finger you can feel my ribs. That's what he wants to say. The words are jumbled here. You may, that means his father can feel his ribs with his fingers. That means he has grown very thin, and anyone can touch and feel his ribs. Father, I'm glad you are come. So he says he's glad that his father had come there. Give me your present to one Master Bassanio, who indeed gives rare new liveries. So he is glad that his father has come with a present, and he asks his father to give that present to one Master Bassanio. Why? Why does he tell his father to give this present to Bassanio? Because he wants to leave Shylock's service and join Bassanio's service. And he tells that uh, an important thing about Bassanio, what according to him, he says, indeed, he gives rare new liveries. So Bassanio gives his servants new uniform. If I serve not him, I will run as far as God has any ground. So he says that if he cannot serve Bassanio, that means if Bassanio doesn't take him in his service, he's going to run as far as he could, and that God has any ground. That means, the limit. That is, God has the whole earth. That means till the end of this earth, he's going to run. I will run as far as God has any ground. Oh, rare fortune, here comes the man. So he says that this is a rare fortune because here comes the man. Who comes there? Yes, Bassanio comes there. And Father, for I'm a Jew if I serve the Jew any longer. So he tells his father that he doesn't want to serve Shylock anymore, because if he stays with the Jew any longer, then he also will become like a Jew. According to the Christians, the Jews are mean, greedy, miserly. Okay, so that's why he says he will also become a Jew if he stays any longer. For I'm a Jew, that means I will also become a Jew. That means here it means he also will get all those characteristics of the Jew. Okay, so I hope you understood what are the reasons that Lancelot wants to leave Shylock's service. Why he wants to quit from Shylock's service. There are 2-3 reasons. Okay, I explained you. Enter Bassanio with Leonard and other followers. Now, in the stage, you can see here now Bassanio with Leonardo and other followers. And Bassanio is giving some instructions. You may do so. Okay, so this is like the continuation of what he was talking to his servant. You may do so. Okay, as I told you, you may do so. It's a continuation of what he was talking to one of his servants. But let it be so hasted that supper be ready at the farthest by 5 o'clock. Okay, so he says that they should do everything fast, hasted, in a haste. They have to hurry up, and that the supper should be ready at least by 5 o'clock. That is latest by 5 o'clock. It should not go beyond that. See these letters delivered, and then he again gives the another instruction, and see that these letters are delivered. See, they have to be delivered quickly. Put the liveries to making, and then he tells that they have to order for making the uniforms, or give the orders for making the uniforms for the servants, and desire Gratiano to come anon to my lodging. And so he tells that particular servant to ask Gratiano to come to his lodging. Okay, to come to the place where Bassanio lives. Exit a servant. So the servant exit, goes out from the stage. So here anon means soon. Okay, so Gratiano should meet Bassanio in his lodging soon. Anon, soon. Then the servant exits. Lancelot, to him, father. So Lancelot is pushing his father towards Bassanio and telling, to him, father, father, you just talk to him. That's what. God bless your worship. So Gobo says, God bless you, sir. Bassanio, gramercy, wouldst thou art with me? Okay, so Bassanio replies, okay, may God bless you, or you can say, and God mercy on you. And thou art with me. Do you want anything from me? Gobo, here's my son, sir, a poor boy. So he says, okay, here's my son. See, this here is my son. He's a poor boy. At this time, Lancelot tells, not poor boy, sir, but the rich Jewish man. So he corrects him by saying that, hey, he's not a poor boy, but he is the rich Jewish man. He is the servant of the rich Jew. Who is the rich Jew? Okay, Shiloh. That would serve as my father shall specify. So he says that, okay, and his father will explain and specify here. See, he wants to use, Lancelot wants to use high sounding words in order to show that he has classical learning. And from the beginning, I told you, he was telling, instead of telling that Lancelot is dead according to the sisters of destiny. He is no more, like, okay. And so he wants, or he is using high sounding words to show that he has some classical learning. Okay, so we'll stop there. Mm, Read the textbook thoroughly, and the right side of the text also, okay, the symbol form is given on the right side. Children, I hope you have bought the Total English book and the Merchant of Venice workbook, because today also I met the principal, and principal told that um, this week itself they are sending the books back to the book companies. So if anyone has not bought these textbooks and workbooks, please go to the school store and get as early as possible, and the books will be sent this week itself. That's why I'm telling you again and again. Okay, I hope you have all bought the books, but I'm telling you because today I went to the store and found so many books lying down there. That's why i I have a notion that some of you have not bought, otherwise so many books won't be there in the store. That's why. Okay, children. So read the textbook thoroughly. Okay, bye. Till we meet in the next class.